So, good morning and welcome to Linz, the capital of Upper Austria. This is situated at the river Danube, and it has been mentioned already in the Neolithic period that Linz has been a residence here, settled around the river at one point that is called Lentia in the Roman language. It is referring to this Celtic root of lentos, which means bendable or curving. So this tells us that Linz is situated at where the river is bending. And I'm sure you have seen this already when arriving, and maybe you have chances to see this later on throughout your stay here in Linz. We live in a world of, in times of crisis. There is a picture from Johns Hopkins that tells us in the dashboard about the evolution of COVID-19. This is taken last Thursday, this picture, and it tells us that some 6.5 million lives have been taken by the virus so far. We do see this little girl here looking at the crater of what is left over after an explosion in front of what seems to be an apartment building, which is heavily damaged by a bombing attack that started on February 25th this year in Kiev, the Ukraine. We have a war in Europe. Germany intends to phase out of all its nuclear reactors by the end of next year. Belgium has decided to do so by the end of 25. This move, but is expected to increase the use of fossil fuels, at least in the short term, and it comes amid the ongoing energy crisis here in Europe. The European Union plans to accept nuclear power again as a low-carbon energy source. We have an energy and a CO2 crisis. This fisher boat here with some hundreds of migrants on it, refugees, is taken a couple of moments before being rescued by the Italian Navy in their Mare Nostrum operation in June 2014. The migration crisis is still continuing. Creating new plastic is cheaper than recycling existing plastic, and this makes the pile of plastic waste increasing each and every day. So plastic products have an average lifetime of some 13 years, depending on where plastic is used. But plastic packaging, for example, has a lifetime of just 3 weeks. 200,000 up until 500,000 tons of microplastic fiber coming from textiles, as for example, is entering the marine environment each and every year. By 2050, it is said that there will be more plastic in the oceans than there are fish. Taken by firefighters in Gironde, a region in the south of France, this shows wildfires this summer, in July 2022, which is out of any control here in France and in Spain, and it just happened this year. This is a picture of River Po in Italy that you might not have seen this way or this style. It is a riverbed that has dried out this summer, just this summer, in July 2022, after suffering one of the worst droughts in over 70 years. But we don't have to cross borders. This also happens here in Austria, just a couple of kilometers away from this university here. In Hallein, in the state of Salzburg, we have seen this disaster last year in summer, flushing away cars that are parked in the streets, as you see it here. It is not far away, it is just around the corner that these things happen. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, there are hundreds of people gathering along the fence of the Raw Displacement Persons Camp in Ituri. We have a humanitarian crisis here on the planet. Weather disasters in Madagascar early this year have made children sit outside of their destroyed homes in the aftermath of this cyclone Batsiari in the town of Manajari in Madagascar, early this year, 2022. Displaced families in Mozambique, they flee here from armed forces. In June this year, 2022, we do see 19.4 million Nigerians that face food insecurity in August this year. So we do see this newborn here lying on a small bed with her mother, 14 months old. Aisha Usman stares blankly. The eyes are sunk into the sockets. The rib cage is visible. We do have a severe food crisis here on planet. Flooding in South Sudan, over 800,000 affected by the worst flooding in the past 60 years. This morning we have heard that Hurricane Ian has taken more than 90 lives already, as of today, by approaching Florida. We do see a person after a decade of harrowing economic contraction and hyperinflation, counting the Venezuelan local currency, the bolivars, a value of $5, for example, has a value of 4 million Venezuelan bolivars. And there is children out there which have to work. 1 in 10 of the world's children are forced to work. In the last decade, child labor has increased by 38%. So worldwide, about 152 million children are affected by COVID-19, the pandemic. And this exacerbates the situation even for children. So this is a symbol, I think, that all these crises that we have on planet today, in the end, they turn down to the next generation of mankind. It all comes down to children. It is that we are betraying our children for their future. We have a massive children's right crisis because they cannot fight for their rights as we as adults would. So there is many issues that we are facing each and every day. And here is just one thought that maybe is very familiar to you. In 2022, we have seen worldwide 7.26 billion subscribers to mobile networks. This is about 98.08% of the whole world's human population. So seen at the worldwide scale, this is the largest wireless system and network that mankind has ever created. There is no larger than this. If we look more into the technology, I don't have to explain this to you, yeah? Then we do see clearly that there is technology embedded into smartphones and feature phones that range from sensing capacities for acceleration, gyroscopes, magnetometers, light sound, humidity, temperature, air pressure, digital compasses for orientation, geolocation, near-field communication, proximity detectors, fingerprint scanners, touch scans, iris scanners, pedometers, etc. It is all there in your phones. And the thought or the consideration now is, why not use this platform, this wireless sensor system that is spanning the whole planet to monitor and to sense for global health, for pandemics, for welfare, for climate, for forest fires, for energy, for poverty, for hyperinflation, violence, refugees, migration, and also children's rights. So we have come to a point where embedded wireless systems and networks have become globe spanning, just introduced by this example here. And never have embedded wireless systems and networks had so many opportunities to serve humankind. So time is up. Let's do it. Welcome to EWSN 2022. Welcome to Linz. Nice to have you back here. Welcome back to real life. Thank you.